Guys, I haven't done an Instagram live since like the COVID days, but I'm doing it. And my computer, my phone is on red. So why isn't it charging? I don't know. Hi, I'm so excited. Why did strawberry wine just turn on? I didn't tell it to do that. Did anybody hear that? What did I say that made it think I needed to do that? Computer, turn off. Turn Deanna Carter off. Okay.
TV.
Now is it charging? Yes, now it's charging. Hi! Okay.
Hello.
Oh my god. Computer, turn off. Okay. Computer, turn off. Nonstop. Guys, oh my gosh, Divya, I remember you so well from the COVID day Zoom class days. If you are a new follower, new since, when did I stop? 2021? During COVID, I started teaching Zoom cooking classes when I had, 10,000-ish followers. And that was really a way that I grew and grew my community. And it was so much fun. And a lot of these recipes in this book are riffs and derivatives and swappy and subby versions of some of those early COVID classes. Yes, Amy says date nights, George and I. Oh my God, how did we do that? I guess we only had 2 babies. So we would put them to bed and do it. We would do these date night cooking classes, and it was COVID days, so people had nothing to do and hadn't had a date in forever. So we would have 400 people on these date nights. George, shh, you're gonna wake the baby up. Can I get a beer with friends after work? Cute. You're a cute boy. Go for it, because I'm about to leave for 2 weeks, so the world is your oyster, George. Be gone. But the date nights were the most fun. We would make cocktails, and we would make way too many cocktails, and it was amazing. Okay, the book. Guys, look, it's here. I know a lot of you already have it. I'm not supposed to talk about this. My editor's probably watching and be shut up. But a lot of booksellers have accidentally sent it early. So a lot of you already have my unpublished book, which I think is the funniest thing ever. It's tweaking my team out so bad. They're oh no, don't share, blah, 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 blah. But I think it's the funniest thing ever. Wait, Caroline Chambers? Are you kidding? Hi, Caroline Chambers. There's Caroline Chambers in the comments. I think it's the funniest thing. It's also happens. I love that if you pre-order the book, that means that you're a super supporter. And so I think it's so great that so many of you are so many of you have already cooked 20 recipes from the book and you've had it for a week. It's amazing. Amazon and Barnes and Noble are, they have not shipped it early. So if you order through one of those, then you'll have it on the proper pub day on August 13th. Okay, the book. Let's talk about it. So, can I flip my camera around? No, I don't think so. I think you just have to look at it backwards, which is kind of annoying. What to cook when you don't feel like cooking. If you are new here, I had the idea for what to cook when you don't feel like cooking in 2019 after I had Mattis, our first son. And I now know that I was really struggling with postpartum anxiety, and suddenly my love of cooking, the thing that I felt so passionate about and loved doing at the end of every day, cooking dinner for me and George, was no longer a passion. I was F cooking. I never felt like cooking. I was exhausted. I was overstimulated, overtouched, all of the things, and I suddenly didn't feel like cooking anymore. And then I just started cooking. Eventually I was well, we have to. I have to do this. Indeed, I have to feed my family. And so I started with really simple, really short recipes. Whereas previous to having kids, I had been kind of a project cooker. I loved a 2-hour recipe, really getting into it, chopping, spending a ton of time in the kitchen. And so I started with really short, really simple recipes. And I was oh, these are just as good. And I think prior to having Mattis, I was very obsessed, and I was very obsessed with doing things the right way in the kitchen. I didn't go to culinary school, so I kind of had almost I had sort of imposter syndrome. I felt I had to do things the really chefy, correct way. None of my hacks and crazy shit that you see me do, putting parchment paper on top of rice and steaming broccoli on top of it. I was no, Gordon Ramsay would never, so I can't. And so my first book is beautiful and amazing, Just Married, but it's very chefy. So if there's a recipe with like wet ingredients and dry ingredients, like we're using 2 bowls. Whereas What to Cook, I realized after having kids, like you don't need to use 2 bowls. Do the wet ingredients and then put the dry ingredients on top, sift them together with your hands, and then stir it all together. Like, it's fine. Is it like as perfect as a baked good at a restaurant? Maybe not. Like, maybe like technically not, but like it's just as delicious to you, the home cook. So I came up with this concept in 2019 after having Mattis for What to Cook When You Don't Feel Like Cooking. And my agent and I pitched it to everyone, all the publishers, and everyone said no because I didn't have an Instagram following at the time. It like wasn't my focus. I was a freelance recipe developer. So I was really bummed and frustrated and like so sad about that, and I kind of gave up on the dream. And then COVID happened, and all of a sudden we were all at home, and I started cranking out recipes here on Instagram, teaching my Zoom cooking classes, started growing that Instagram community that I had lacked when I got turned down. And rather than then at like 10,000 Instagram followers, rather than try to get a book deal, I decided to launch it as an online, as the Substack that you guys all know. And so that was December 2020. I launched it as a Substack, have grown it and grown it and grown it over the years. And like a year and a half ago, January, Amanda, my editor at Union Square, like found my agent and was like, I've been following Caroline's Substack for a year. I want it. When she's ready to write the book, like it's got to be us. And I had just had Cashel, I think, like this was like the fall. So I just had my 3rd baby. She was like, I know she's on maternity leave, but like when she's ready to come back, like I wanted to write the book with us. So that's how this came to be. And it is like, these recipes are like so tried and true and tested. And if I had written the book in 2019, it would have been such a different book. I would have only had 1 kid worth of like, you know, exhaustion in my pocket. Like these recipes are like a really, truly, the tagline of the book is recipes for busy people who love good food. And 2-3 kids later, I'm busier than ever. And so I think these recipes are like more accessible and simple and easy than they ever could have been in 2019. So it really, that was when it was supposed to come out. Like this next Tuesday, in 4 days, the book publishes, and like that is when it's supposed to be here. I'm not like a spiritual person really, but I am a believer in like things fall into place. And here it is because of that. Okay, now let's look at the book. That was a long explanation. But I wanted anybody who like doesn't have the backstory, I wanted to give it to you because it's kind of been a cool journey. Okay, so What to Cook When You Don't Feel Like Cooking. We like are really obsessed over this cover. Covers like are typically like the whole thing, and that we wanted some really bright color on here. You will see there's a ton of color in this book. I wanted this book. There's kind of been like a movement in the cookbook world of like very like washed out like cool girl aesthetic, and I'm like not a cool girl. I'm like a busy mom, and I wanted this to feel like a busy person's like Bible, like somebody who wants just like vibrance and color and like happiness in their life. This is it. Like we're you know, like that's who we are. So there is just so much color, and my editor is like such a detail-oriented person. Amanda, are you on here? I feel like you would be on here. That like we obsessed over this color. We reshot this cover. This is a recipe in the book, of course. It is one of the 10 recipes from the newsletter that came over from the newsletter. So 10 recipes from the Substack are in the book. And you guys helped me vote on that. Do you remember in, I don't know, last spring, I was like, hey, 10 recipes get to go in the book. What should they be? I need you guys to tell me. Because just looking at my data, like my stats on Substack, wasn't what I wanted to do. I wanted, like for instance, I shared a recipe this past week that was and so into that yesterday. There was the Healthy Sloppy Joes from 2021. I was like, oh my God, I haven't thought about that recipe in ages. And I posted it, and like 20 people were like, oh my God, I forgot. That's like my family's favorite recipe. Like we make that all the time. I was like, what? So I let you guys vote so that I could hear like anecdotally, not just via the data, what to have in here. So the recipes from the newsletter that are in here are the garlicky grains with asparagus and sausage. That's in the 15-minute chapter. Anytime you have leftover rice, farro, quinoa, any grain, that's the recipe you need to make. It is like chock full of protein, veg, all of the things. That one is in there. The roasted salmon and asparagus with dilly sauce. This was like a banger from 2 springs ago, and it had so many votes that it had to go in there. I simplified it even further from what the newsletter version is to make it fit into the 15-minute chapter. We'll talk about the chapter breakdown in a minute. Somebody said, is the salmon in there? The salmon, of course, is in there. The crunchy salmon bowls, what are they called? Crunchy salmon bowls, something like that, are absolutely in there. We'll flip through it in a second. The sriracha shrimp sushi bowls, that's a huge hit. So that one had to go in there. Simple. You like marinate the shrimp in sriracha, some rice vinegar, some soy sauce, marinate it for a few minutes while you're like getting your rice going, and then you just throw on a bunch of sushi-ish, that's a word, things like some chopped cucumber, some pickled ginger, and like those are your toppings. The sauce from the marinade and the sauce is the same thing. It's just like it's like eating a shrimp roll, but like all in a bowl. It's so easy and good. The Thai chop. Okay, we all love the Thai chicken chop. It's called the Thai chicken chop in the newsletter. Yes, there's a veggie version of that. So I needed like a really hearty, nourishing veggie-based salad. And so the Thai chicken chop like morphed into this veggie chop. Thai chicken chop morphed into a veggie chop. And that's in the 30-minute chapter. So anyway, 10 recipes from the newsletter came over. They are your favorites. They are voted on by you guys. Let's talk about the chapter breakdown. So the first content, and again, like lots of bold font, lots of color, each chapter has a different color. Just little details, but it's fun. The chapters, we really thought about this a lot. Traditional way that a book is listed out by chapter is by protein. That's like the most classic way. And I get it. Like that's a really easy way to search for what you're cooking. But I think that when you don't feel like cooking, the number one like base reason for that is because you're exhausted and you don't have enough time. So you're exhausted and you don't want to spend a lot of time, or you're exhausted and you like don't have the time. You're getting home after baseball practice, you're getting home after work, you're trying to cram cooking dinner into like a nap time and still have time to take a nap yourself. Whatever the reason, I think that time is a lot of the reason that we don't feel like cooking. So that is how we organize the chapters. I think that it's like, we think it might be the first book that's ever been organized by time. I don't know. Every time you think you have an original thought, it's not actually. So who the hell knows if that's true? But the book is organized by time. 15-ish minutes. Of course, we said ish because my 15 minutes is a different 15 minutes, but these are all tested and approved in these time frames. My professional tester, ALLLL of the New York Times, tested every single recipe in this book, and if it did not fit into the time constraints, she had a timer on her kitchen counter, and if it didn't fit into the time constraints that I said it was, like if I said 15 minutes and it was 30, it got moved. If it said 30 and she was like, actually it was more like 18, it got moved to 15-ish. So these are like true times. You gotta be focused. Like you gotta be ingredients out, like all you're doing is cooking. So like when my kids are around, a 15-ish minute recipe can turn into a 30-ish minute recipe, but like we're there. These are fast recipes. So it's 15-ish minutes, 30 minutes, 45 minutes, an hour, and a little bit longer. So the a little bit longer recipes are recipes like slow cooked barbecue ribs and ranchy potatoes. So you're spending like 10 minutes on prep. You're putting your rack of ribs down, you're cutting your potatoes in half, you're seasoning everything, you're throwing it in the oven, and like that's it. But it takes 3 hours to cook, so it's a little bit longer, Like you can throw it in the oven, you can go get the kids at school, take them to soccer practice, come back, and then dinner's ready. So those are important recipes too. So we were like, I stressed over that. I was like, if you don't feel like cooking, do you feel like cooking a 3-hour recipe? And ultimately we were like, absolutely yes. On that note of the a little bit longer, something else you guys voted on and was feedback from the private chat of paid subscribers, maybe all subscribers, but of What to Cook subscribers, was the request to have slow cooker instructions in here. So I don't talk about slow cookers a lot. I'm not a huge slow cooker user, but for this book, I fully understand the utility. Like when I don't feel like cooking, I feel like dumping chicken and salsa and in a slow cooker, covering it and leaving the house and coming back and dinner's ready. So there are slow cooker ingredients throughout anytime it makes sense and anytime it works. And that was something that was like a full discussion. Do you guys remember this? Like a full discussion on the private chat, like people passion. We added this in. Like we were like done with edits, I think, and it came up somehow, and I like called my editor and was like, we have to add slow cooker. I don't know. So those chapters by time, and then this was a pretty late ad. There are 2 extra like bonus chapters, and each of these is a full meal, just like the Substack. Like it's, easy and elegant steak salad, 1 skillet balsamic mushroom braised chicken. Like they're full meals. It's not just the entree. It's not just a side. It's the full dinner in that time. Okay, so the last minute chapter ads were obligatory greens and obligatory sweets. So I think that each of these recipes is like plenty on its own, but if you want a little extra something, like you're having an enchilada rice skillet and you're like, I need some greens on this side, you're gonna go to your obligatory greens and you're gonna be like, ooh, what would work with this? Sauteed greens, the greatest kale salad, well-dressed tender greens, crisp greens with lemon vinaigrette. I'm gonna go well-dressed tender greens. Takes like 2 seconds, delicious, and it's a great side. So sometimes you gotta add greens. I talk about this a lot, like greens keep our bodies moving in every way, keep our brains sharp, keep us moving. So if you ever want to add greens, flip to that chapter, and there are 4 really gorgeous salad recipes. And then obligatory sweets, I wasn't gonna have desserts in here. It like kept coming up, like, are there desserts in there? My editor was like, are you sure we shouldn't add some? So this was an ad after the first round of edits. I was like, okay, let's do 5. Is it 5? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's do like a very short chapter on like the top hits. So like 1 from each category. So caramelized peach snickerdoodle cobbler. Sounds like a mouthful, but it's really just like the most delicious cobbler ever. And of course there are tons of ways to like riff and swap and make it a different cobbler depending on the season. Peanut butter cup pot de creme. These are insane. If you were just married, my first book, devotee, these are kind of a riff on the first pot de creme that's in that book, which is just a basic pot de creme. There's a peanut butter version, and there is a mint chocolate version of the pot de creme in the riffs that you have to make this holiday season. Don't worry, I'll remind you. Salted brown butter toffee skillet cookie. My COVID era girls will remember this one. The entire cookie comes together in a skillet. You like melt your butter, you brown it, and then you add everything straight into the skillet, bake it straight in there, and it's like the most fun thing to serve after dinner. Like, people lose their minds when you bring out a giant cookie. And lemon cake with creme fraiche frosting. So that sounds really bougie, but it's actually like the easiest thing ever. Creme fraiche is just, you can also use cream cheese if you've got it, like, use whatever you want. But creme fraiche adds like a little tartness, and it's so good. And it's like the easiest 1 bowl cake. Okay, so we've gotten through the chapters. We go into, the intro. Hi, I'm Caroline. You can call me Caro. And this section is important. So, my newsletter girls, as you know, on every single recipe, I write a note and a sub for every single ingredient. The notes list, sometimes, the notes and subs honestly take me longer than writing the recipe sometimes, because I'm like, okay, we could riff it that way, we could riff it this way, we could sub that, but then I have to add the cooking instructions if I sub that. Trust me, I tried, but my editor assured me that if I did that in a cookbook, it would be about this thick if I had a swap and sub and note for every single recipe. And one thing that I was like really obsessed with and like had to have was a single spread for each recipe. So photo on one side, every single recipe has a photo on one side, recipe on the other. This was like, had to have it that way. And if I had had notes and subs and swaps, it would have been on to 2 more pages and like gotten really messy. So instead of that, we have 7 like note categories, or tip categories, I think we call them. And they are tip, which is general cooking tips pertinent to the individual recipe. Slow, and these are your slow cooker instructions. Shortcut, these are like our time saving, like I don't feel like cooking. What do I call it in the newsletter? What to cook when you really don't feel like cooking? That didn't fit. So shortcut is the what to cook when you really don't feel like cooking. And they're like, instead of using carrots, get pre-chopped butternut squash at the store because they always have it pre-chopped. Like ways to cut time off without sacrificing flavor. Learn, these are like cooking school tips. Like if there's something in a recipe that I think a lot of people like learn something from, like how to braise, how to sear, like, you know, you want to make sure it's golden brown, whatever it is, then I call it out there. This is my like teach a man to fish instead of handing a man a fish moment. Just like I call them in the newsletter, I call them cooking school, and I'll like call out specifically why we're doing something the way we are. So it's like breaks down, these tips elaborate on a technique or break down a process. Riff, we all know the riffs, like sometimes there are multiple riffs. If it's a chicken burrito bowl recipe, like I'm gonna tell you how to make it a chicken curry bowl, chicken and zucchini pesto bowl, like lots of different things. Oh, is there a link to buy? That would have been smart. There is, it's carolinechambers.com/cookbooks. carolinechambers.com/cookbooks. Swap, these are our swaps. Like we love a swap. So, you know, if it's a chicken recipe, I'm gonna tell you how to make it with pork steak. If it's pesto recipe, I'm gonna tell you how to make it with like a teriyaki version instead. Those are like our really cool, like, again, teaching you to cook like a technique and then letting you riff on it, how it feels good to your family, and then bulk it up. So what I call a full meal is not what you might call a full meal, what you know, vice versa. So these are ways to bulk it up. Sometimes I'm like, this would be perfect with the obligatory greens, or you know, this would be perfect with the kale salad from the obligatory greens section. Sometimes I'll be like, this would be amazing with the side dish from another recipe if you're trying to like bulk it up and add more. Add farro to make it bulk, like more hearty, things like that. And then, as always, I say, if you can only take away one thing from this book, it's this: do your thing. Cooking does not have to be stressful. Maybe you'll never love it, but man, don't let it stress you out. Like, these are my tips on how to make cooking, like, it doesn't have to be that serious. Like, it can be just like easy and quick and delicious. We've got seasoning notes. We talk a lot about salt here. We love salt. Speaking of, I just got 3 huge boxes of Diamond Crystal kosher salt from Amazon because I cannot find it in any store. So if you are a Diamond Crystal kosher salt lover, and if you want to cook my recipes, that is what I develop all my recipes with. Get some on Amazon if you can't find it. How to swap it. So again, we can't do a swap for every single ingredient in a cookbook. It doesn't work. So we've got like major notes. If it's something sweet, like swap it this way. If it's a tender green, here are some swaps. Soft veggies, here are some swaps. So this can be what you refer back to, page 20 and 21, when you're like, oh, what would Caroline swap here? I can't find carrots at the store. Okay, Divya, I think, asked, are the recipes written the same way they are in the newsletter? So, sort of. Now listen. This was another thing Amanda, my editor, and I like really got into it on. Writing the full ingredient. So in the newsletter, I write the full ingredient. So I don't say pour the tomatoes into a medium saucepan. I say pour 1 14-ounce can of tomatoes in. I don't say stir in the chipotles. I say stir in 2 chipotle peppers. All listed right there in. And that's amazing for the newsletter. And I was like, I wrote the recipes the first time when I first delivered my manuscript that same way. Amanda sent me back like how many pages it would take to have that full of a recipe, and some of the recipes were taking like 3 pages because it takes so much more space. But as she reassured me, and I really believe, on the newsletter, to find the amount, the ingredient amount, you would have to scroll back up and then scroll back down. So like, what a pain. So for the newsletter, it really makes sense not to do that. But for the book, we're just having to look right there, right? So pour the tomatoes. How many tomatoes? 1 can. Pour the chipotle peppers. How many? 1. Pour the soy sauce. How much? 2 teaspoons. So it's a much easier thing, and they are still bolded, okay? So you're not gonna miss an ingredient. You're not gonna skip a step because they are still written in bold. So we've got that, and it works. I really, trust me, I really obsessed over that. Okay, answered Divya's question. Oh, Janessa, thank you so much. That's such a nice compliment. Yeah, people have started to get their books. Margot, super fan Margot down in Pebble Beach. Who's going to Margot's party? When my Zoom cooking party that we're doing right here in this kitchen as a pre-order incentive. If you pre-order the book, you're going to be invited. You have to like log in your pre-order information. But I'm teaching a live Zoom cooking class right here, like the good old days, except for Better Kitchen. And during it, we have like a truly outrageous number of giveaways. Like, it's so many giveaways that we're like having to write a full script so that I can be like, okay, chop the onions and you're winning a full kitchen set from Maiden. Okay, chop the onions. Okay, you're getting a food processor from Cuisinart. It's like, we have to like really run it because there's so much stuff being given away. It's going to be really, really fun and incredible. Kelsey says, are you still doing the Substack newsletter? Oh my gosh, yes. The Substack newsletter like is my life. It's my baby. It's like, I have said this before, but like I can't imagine myself ever stopping the newsletter. Like, I know that that's a big sweeping statement. I'm only 35, but like I really see it only growing. Like if it grows beyond me, you know, being able to do it every single week, like maybe there's like a staff writer who's on it with me. I'm not planning that at all, but like I never want it to go away. I love it. I love it. If you want to sign up for the Zoom, go to carolinechambers.com/cookbooks, pre-order the book from any of those, and the link to like submit your information to get logged into or to get entered for the Zoom cooking class and for the massive trip to Carmel giveaway. It's the same link. So, and it's on there, carolinechambers.com/cookbooks. You can pre-order the book there and you can enter your info for the giveaway and class there. It's the same link. Class, giveaway, all in one. So sorry, if you only want the giveaway, you're also going to get the info for the class. If you only want the class, you're also going to be entered for the giveaway. So I'm so sorry if you win a trip to Carmel and you didn't want it. I guess you'll just have to come. What else should we talk about the book? Any other questions? Will the Zoom be recorded? Yeah. Well, you know, I say that. I'm gonna say a strong maybe. I can't wait for San Diego. Are the giveaways for US residents only? Ew. I feel like that's a probably, and I'm very sorry that that's the answer. I feel like my brands might be like, oh my God, we're shipping to somewhere really far away. Oh, that doesn't work. So I'm gonna say yes, but I'll let you know if that's not true. What are we cooking on August 25th? I don't know, and I want to vote on it. So probably by August, the class is on the 25th. By August, I don't know, 15th, I'll send out what it is. So maybe on the 14th or something, I can come up with 2 really good options and we can vote. I think we should make a dessert and a recipe. Do you guys agree? Or should we is that too ambitious? Should we just cook one? I don't know. Should we do a dessert and a thing? Okay, somebody asked if the recipes are good for, if you're cooking for a single. I have to say, I have a ton of newsletter subscribers who are just cooking for themselves. Like, some of my strongest devotees, Elizabeth, are cooking just for themselves, and they always tell me how they, saved the, turned the recipe into, a meal prep. And I think that that is so easy to do with most of these. I'm just flipping through summer. Oh, this soup, it's summer soup. It's so good. I developed this recipe in the peak of summer, last summer. It's all the things that are in your garden right now. If you're me and your mom planted you a garden at age 35. Squash, zucchini, tomatoes, corn. And then it has Israeli couscous, our favorite. Somebody just said, and the tomato farroto, that would be a really good meal prep. So many of these, if you just kind of think okay, how will this save? Don't add all the toppings. If there's a crunchy topping, don't add that until the day of. But I think all of these, and I often, when I'm developing recipes, I often develop it, put it into individual containers for myself for the week. And that's how I eat it. It's even that sheet pan sesame ginger steak and peppers. This is kind of a riff off of a recipe that's in the book, or in the newsletter, but it's not quite the same because it's all roasted on one pan. It's really delicious. But this would be delicious for the week. Put some peppers, some steak, some peppers in the same thing, sauce it up. That would be delicious. Okay, we're gonna do dessert and we'll do dessert and dinner. A lot of people said that. You gotta say, oh yeah, don't worry, I'm gonna post this to my feed. Ooh, Paper Airplanes says, what's your favorite recipe in the book? I need to come up with an answer for that for book tour. I feel like I'll be asked that a lot on book tour. One section that I'll say I'm very excited about, and also this is a spoiler for all the people who showed up for this, are okay, so there's, in every single chapter, there's a 3 ways section component, and it's like, because riffs are such a big part of what to cook, like of our like whole what to cook ethos, there are these like 3 ways to do one thing idea. So the 15-ish minute chapter one is ramen noodles 3 ways, and it's like 3 completely different ways. In the, I think it's 45-minute chapter, is the 3 1 skillet chicken and rice situations. And it's a chicken and pesto rice with asparagus, chicken and gingery rice with coconut curry sauce, and chicken burrito bowls. I love these. It is like veg, starch, chicken, all 1 skillet. Like, I feel like these very much like sum up what I want the book to be. Easy, all in 1 pan. Like literally you clean up a cutting board and a skillet and that's it. Like you're scooping it out of the pan, you're throwing your brazier, your skillet right in the middle of the kitchen table. Everyone's scooping themselves. Maybe there's a saucy topping, maybe not. Maybe you throw some cilantro on top to garnish and make it look prettier. Maybe you're too tired to do that. I feel like these really like sum up what I want the book to like make you feel and like to provide for you. And so I really love those. And the spoiler alert, okay, so one spoiler alert is that this Saturday's recipe will be the riff that's on this page. So the 1 skillet chicken and gingery rice with coconut curry sauce, there's a riff listed here. And like, I just kind of like tell you how to riff, but I don't like obviously list the full like recipe. And so for this Saturday's recipe, I'm gonna like list the riff to like teach you about how to use those riffs. I'm really riff. And then the big spoiler that my people are gonna be really excited about, you guys will be very proud of me for this because you're the most supportive people in the world, is that I'm cooking the 1 skillet chicken and pesto rice on Good Morning America this Monday morning. Woo, woo. So that's huge. I'm so freaking excited. And that is like, as you guys know, I've been talking about it for months, like manifesting. I was like, I want to be on either the Today Show or the Good Morning or Good Morning America on Pub Day, and not just Pub Day, but the day before Pub Day, which is even better because then people like will see me. I'll have a freaking the producer. I had a call with the producer yesterday. I think she said I'm gonna have a huge billboard of the book in Times Square. Is my manager on here? Didn't she say that? I was sort of like, totally, like, that's a normal thing that I'm used to. But yeah, I think that's happening. My mom is coming. My mom was like, you're not going on Good Morning America without me. So she's coming. The gang's all gonna be here. So that was like, that feels really good to get to share feels good to get to share this book like with the broader world in that way. I really, it's not just a cookbook, it's also like about having fun and enjoying your family more and getting to hang out and relax more and not being so stressed out by it all. That's kind of like the ethos that's in this book, and you'll see that in the head notes. You'll see that in this section, which is one of my favorite parts, how to make yourself cook even when you really, really don't feel like it. And everyone who like knows me, all you guys will see like these are like my personality in cooking tips. There's 19 of them. I'll give you one of them as a spoiler. Where is my favorite one? Oh yeah, pop in your earbuds and put on a podcast or a book you can get lost in. I am partial to a smutty romance, or call your mom. So there's like lots of tips, like do leg raises. Like if you feel like cooking is like a waste of time, you're like, I need to exercise, I don't have time to do it all. I give like 3 ideas of like exercises to do in your kitchen because I do these all the time. While I'm standing here waiting for like chicken to sear, do like 100 leg lifts. Do like 50 squats. Is that weird? That's what I do. I only have so much time, Keep your favorite quick tricks on hand at all times. Trader Joe's frozen dumplings, Costco Pesco, Lotus Foods ramen noodles, and Rayo's jarred marinara are my lifelines. Just ways to like enjoy it all and do it all more. Okay, but now I'm doing leg raises. Are we all doing leg raises now? It feels so good. Stand up and do 100 leg raises. Is it called a leg raise? Calf raises. Up and down. And then if you want to get really serious, you go on a step so you can go downwards too. You know, like you can do the downwards motion. Oh, thank you. Your recipes have made me enjoy cooking again. That makes me so happy. Thanks, Sarah. She says your parents must be so proud. They are. I've got to say, I have the most supportive parents in the entire world. Oh yeah, Amy says, I also saw Katie Kirk posted your recipe in her newsletter. Yeah, Katie. So basically, I did still get the Today Show, you know, connection, but no, we're all GMA girls now. They wanted me. We love GMA. Get up there with Michael or Laura or Lara. How do you say? It's one of those LAR. Michael or Laura or Robin. We're gonna cook a chicken and rice situation, and it's gonna be so great. Oh, and the peach cobbler. We're cooking 2 things. Does George have a favorite recipe? George, are you still here? George, are you here? George. I feel like his is gonna be, is he here? No, he's like, I have a job, woman. Can't watch you on the internet all day long. What's George's? Oh my gosh. The pimento cheese, tomato, everything bagel galette. This is a riff off of one of the most popular recipes on the newsletter. The tomato galette, I shared it in yesterday's So Into That because it was published exactly two years ago. I've been sharing those. If you've missed it on So Into That on Wednesdays, I'm doing like what Deb from Smitten Kitchen does, which is when she posts a new recipe, she does like on this day, 1 year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, whatever. And it's been really fun and like such a good way to rediscover seasonal recipes from years past. So that's cool. So anyway, this is a riff off of the tomato galette from 2 years ago, but it's much better. It's pimento cheese, everything bagel galette. And we use, I'm like making sure, I need to like reread every single recipe. So when people are like, you know, how do you do it in that recipe? I'm like, I don't know, I developed these recipes a year ago. Like, do cookbook authors actually look at their own cookbooks? Yes, there's a lot, there's too much going on in here. So anyway, what I was looking to make sure is that we use store-bought pie crust, and like, duh, of course we do. Okay, there is not a Caesar salad in the book, and oh no, yes there is. There's the kale. Wait, is the greatest kale salad? I think the greatest kale salad is like a Caesar riff, but I didn't call it a Caesar. And George honestly was like, I can't believe you didn't put a Caesar in there, because they're all, there's just so many recipes. Don't worry. There's going to be more books, guys. Well, you know, right? There's more. And also all the Caesars on the newsletter are so good. Sam says, I vowed I was not going to buy another cookbook, but I just have to buy yours. Thank you. That's what I like to hear. Pre-order. CarolineChambers.com/cookbooks, or go to Barnes & Noble or Amazon or your local bookstore. Guys, thank you for all of the support. You're just the best. Oh my gosh, Rachel's throwing a BLT party tonight. If you haven't made the pimento cheese BLTs from the newsletter yet, you need to. Oh, this is one. Oh my gosh, I'm just like, it's hard not to talk about every single one. Ratatouille lasagna. This, like lasagna, okay, wintry, but ratatouille lasagna is to use up all of that summer produce. Zucchini, what's in here? You know, ratatouille things. Zucchini, squash, eggplant. It is so good. And I don't want to spoiler alert everything because I don't know what I'm allowed to. GMA told me I was allowed to tell you guys, but I don't know if a publication that we all love, a very female-centric publication, is sharing the ratatouille lasagna recipe next week. But you guys will all have the cookbook by then, so you won't even need that, but you will be excited because every time this particular female-centric publication shares me, you guys are like, ah, I love her. Okay, obligatory greens. Oh, hold on, before we go, and I actually have to go get Mattis. I forgot, I'm a kindergarten mom now. I have to pick up at 3 o'clock. 3 o'clock, and that's with a kinder hour. That's with the extra hour of after school. Pick up at 3 o'clock. How are working parents supposed to do it? You know what I mean? Okay, so in the back of the book. Is it in the back of the book? Yeah. in the back of the book. So we have the index that is sorted by time, right? But you're not always gonna be like, oh, I only have 30 minutes, I only have 45 minutes. There's other vibes too when you're searching for what to cook for your next meal. So in those moments, you're gonna turn to page 258, and we wrote an entirely extra index. So this is, again, like a riff, a similar thing to the recipe index on the Substack, which organizes things both by protein and by mood, and it's the same thing here. So recipes by protein. So if you do want that classic cookbook search, you're going to go here, and I've got everything listed by protein for you. You know, fish and shellfish, chicken and turkey, beef, lamb, pork, vegetarian, and eggs. Oh my gosh, what hiccups. I just started drinking half-calf coffee again, and like, I think it's time to stop. I feel a little manic at all times when I drink like 2 seconds of caffeine. I live in Connecticut and decided after watching this, you have to come to New York. Yeah, you do. Wait, come see me in New York. Oh my gosh, at the Barnes & Noble event, Sarah? I hope that that is what you're talking about. Yes, the Barnes & Noble event. If you're in New York or Brooklyn, that's where I'm kicking off tour. I'll be at the Barnes & Noble in Union Square with Sola Al-Waili, the coolest. I adore her, fellow cookbook author, except for like she's a James Beard Award winner, so like she's the bomb. She was on my podcast. You guys all know who she is. She's doing opening day with me, which is so fun. I really wanted like a food girl to like usher in the book with me that night. I wanted to be just like food ladies in the house. So I'm really pumped for that. That's the 13th. That's pub day, Barnes & Noble Union Square. I've said this before somewhere, but when I was like 22 living in New York City, I saw Anthony Bourdain speak at the Barnes & Noble in Union Square with my friend who would later become my literary agent. We went together because we were like just a couple of gals who loved us some Tony. And I like vividly remember, and I'm like not one of those people with a great memory, I vividly remember going up the escalator, if you've been to the Barnes & Noble Union Square, going up the escalator, it's like iconic Barnes & Noble, going up the escalator, and you like get, like, you like go straight into where the speaker event is, and there were just people everywhere, and it was like so dynamic, and he was up on the stage just like talking about whatever the hell Tony wanted to talk about. And I just remember like sitting there like with my cook, or I guess it was for Kitchen Confidential, maybe was the tour he was on. I can't even remember. But I just remember like sitting there with my book and it being like the most like electric, buzzy night. And so when my team was like, all right, what do we want to do for opening day? I was like, well, I'm going to be on the Today Show or Good Morning America that morning. I was like, manifest. And it, big manifester. I was like, well, I'm going to be on the Today Show or Good Morning America that morning. So we need to be in New York that night. I want to be at Barnes & Noble Union Square. And they were like, really? Like throwing out other ideas, like, that's great, but like, what about this? What about that? And I was like, nope, Barnes & Noble Union Square, like, most electric, cool, like, food event I've ever been to, like, that's what I want. So that's what we're doing. How did I get so off topic? I did. Secondary index, or tertiary index, I should say. So by minutes, by protein, and then what to cook when. And these are our mood cooks. So what to cook when you're feeling especially healthy, whatever that means to you. And you will see in here, like, I'm not talking about health, like freaking Erewhon health food. Like, these are delicious, just like really nutritious, whole food ingredient, like extra, I would say, I would say processed food is what, like getting the processed food out is what I constitute as healthy for this. You're craving something cozy. You need to feed people lunch. These are great lunch recipes. Like sometimes we need like a fancy lunch, a baby shower, lunch at the beach, whatever. You need to drop off a meal for a friend. You're craving pasta. You're in the mood for a sandwich. You want a one pot / sheet pan meal. So those are like our bread and butter. Those are like what made, I feel like, the newsletter like really take off. And like me, oh, you want to show off? These are your dinner party recipes. Not dinner party. These are when you're having friends over, okay? We're out on dinner parties. Like, it doesn't have to be a party. Just make these and people will be impressed when they come over. And then you want to use your slow cooker. So every single recipe that has that slow note is there. Carrie, I'm going to be on Good Morning America on August 12th. Do we have an update on the Birmingham venue change? They added 50 more tickets, but they sent them to the 50, like the people who had gotten on the first 50 people on the wait list, and they already sold out. So we did go to a bigger venue, but we already sold it out too. If the weather is incredible, we are going, it's at Little Professor, I don't know, they have two. It's at the one that has like a large outdoor space that they can spill out into. If the weather is good, because it's August, September. When am I going? September. It's September in Alabama, so thunderstorms are a thing. So if the weather is good, they are last minute, like the day before or 2 days before, going to open the floodgates, and we're going to set up all the chairs outside and be like outside in this beautiful courtyard together. So, Kim, I'm going on Good Morning America on August 12th at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's the show. So I think she said there's like a thing, you know, they're like, you're standing in the corner and they're like, Caroline Chambers is coming on at the 8:30 hour, and they're like, so I need to come up with a cool, so that, because you're always like kind of judge the person's like wave or like what they do. Some people are like, I need to come up with like a, yeah, okay, I won't do that. Okay, yes, Kelly, I do want to do an Insta Live and cook a recipe from the book. Maybe I'll do that. Oh my gosh, I know, I'm out of time, crap. Tomorrow's Friday, and then Saturday is my event here, my like kickoff event, and then I leave Sunday morning at 7 a.m. I'll do an Insta Live cooking a recipe at some point, but not before pub. But I can assure you, they're all great. Joie de Bive, that's an amazing Instagram name. And yes, I'm coming to DC. Are there any DC girls here at the DC event? Somebody asked me what I'm most excited for, and that would be like picking a favorite child. But the DC event, I have the most nervous, healthy, excited anticipation for the DC event because it's the biggest event. We were at like 450 tickets sold right now. There's room for 600. It's in the Lincoln Theater, which is apparently like a really iconic theater. The bar is gonna be open. Carla Hall, who is like one of my favorite female chefs of all time. I really like look up to her career and the way she's made it work in food media versus like the restaurant female chef scene. I really look up to her career, and we were having a conversation on stage. I've got exclusive merch from my DC people. Should I say what it is? Everybody else, you can't get mad, okay? We're doing exclusive merch for DC because there was this like snafu with the tickets and it sucked, but it's all solved now, and we got really cool merch out of it, and it's this, I'm not gonna tell you what it is, you have to see it. We're all going out after DC. My dad really wants to come to DC, so my mom's coming to New York. She'll be at all the events. If you're in New York, Brooklyn, you will see Crash everywhere. She will be everywhere in all her glory. My dad really wants to come to DC, so maybe we all need to go out with Tommy in DC. Is there like a bar near the Lincoln Theater? We could all go grab a drink after. I also think I'll be signing books. Wait, am I signing books? I think I'm pre-signing because DC is so many people, because otherwise you would have to be in line for like 5 hours, and like I would never wish that upon you. So I think I'm pre-signing. So maybe we should just boogie afterwards. I was thinking like, we could all just like hang out in the lobby and get drinks because the bar will be open. Okay. After party at Franklin Hall. Yes, Tommy is his name. You're the cutest, Amy. Okay, maybe we're going to Franklin Hall after. I wish I was coming to Miami too. Okay? I have to say, another thing I'm really excited. We already talked about Birmingham, but I think things like book tours, authors, I'm really hot. What am I wearing under this? Authors end up going to the big markets. LA, New York, DC, the big spots. And Birmingham, you ladies, like, were in my inbox. You were DMing me, you were emailing me, you were writing on every single, what to cook post anytime I talked about book tour. You guys, like, I was like, to my team, I was like, I don't know, I think we have to go to Birmingham, Alabama. And they were like, what? They're like, it's not even like one of your biggest numbers, like on, your Instagram business insights. It's not even like one of your biggest numbers. I was like, I've just got a feeling like it's very anecdotal, but like these Birmingham girls really seem to want to come. And we have like 200 people coming to the event, 300 more on the wait list. There is something to going to the smaller markets that like really support you. And also Birmingham, why am I, like, no offense to me, but like, why am I so popular in Birmingham? What, did one of you like, did somebody take out a billboard in Birmingham? I feel so like when I'm in Birmingham, I'm gonna be like, you girls are my people. Like, thank you. I don't know. It's incredible. Houston, I also have a huge following, because I swear it's like 6 degrees of separation from Kevin Bacon. My cousins are all not all, but a lot of my cousins are in Houston, and they are like the people who, when I was first trying to grow, I was like, can you share my recipe? Can you share that on your story? Can you like that? Can you send it to your friends and like make them like it? And so I swear I like my growth like billowed out from Houston, Texas. So I'm coming to Houston. All right, Franklin Hall after the after party. We've got to figure that out. Somebody says killer food scene in Birmingham. The worst, the thing that I'm looking forward to the least about the book tour, like I'm so excited, it's gonna be insane to get to meet all of you and be everywhere. The thing that stinks is that I am like in each city for 11 hours. Like I'm like, hey, bye, like at the event, like shaking hands. I don't think I'm gonna eat a proper meal anywhere, because I'm like gonna be at the event late, because I'm signing books, hanging out. And then be exhausted because I will have like woken up at 5 a.m. to get on a plane. I'm going New York, Brooklyn, DC, Winston, Charlotte, Boston. Boston is another place that showed the F up. I love you, Boston. And also I've heard anecdotally that, I've said anecdotally 10 times. I don't think I've said that word in 5 years. I've heard that Boston has like really strong Facebook mom groups, and that my recipes get passed around those a lot, and people are like, that's how you blew up. I saw you on a Facebook mom group. Love you, Facebook mom groups in Boston. Boston, Chicago. And that's that many days. And it's like, I go to bed at 1, wake up the next morning at 6 and get on the flight to the next one. So I'm not going to eat. I'm like going to all the cool cities, and I'm not going to get to eat that much. Michelle says, bring your Hilma. Oh, don't you worry. I'll be bringing my Hilma. We're going to have some regularity in there. I know I'm not coming to LA. I'm not going to LA or San Francisco. Oh my God, I gotta go pick up Mattis. Bye. I love you all. Kindergarten. How many minutes ago did I say I gotta go pick up Mattis? My poor child. Second day of kindergarten. Mom's late. Okay, I'll post this to my feed. Love you all. Cannot wait to see you. DM me if you have any questions. To pre-order the book, carolinechambers.com/cookbooks, and then make sure you are entered to win all the pre-order stuff. How do you end an Instagram live? Goodbye.